A runaway prophet, a raging storm, a giant whale. This is the story of Jonah, like you've never seen before. Once, a man named Jonah heard God's voice. "Jonah," the Lord said, "go to the great city of Nineveh. The people there are doing wrong things, and I want you to tell them to turn back to me." But Jonah frowned. He didn't like the people of Nineveh. He didn't want to help them. "No way," Jonah thought. "I'll run far, far away where God can't find me." So Jonah hurried down to the harbor and found a ship. It was headed in the opposite direction, to a place called Tarshish. He paid for his ticket, climbed aboard, and soon the ship was sailing across the sea. But Jonah forgot something very important. You can't run away from God. Suddenly, dark clouds filled the sky. The wind howled, and giant waves crashed against the ship. The sailors were terrified. They threw their cargo overboard to make the ship lighter, but nothing helped. And where was Jonah? Fast asleep in the bottom of the boat. The captain shook him awake. "How can you sleep at a time like this? Pray to your God. Maybe he can save us." The sailors cast lots to see who was to blame, and the lot fell on Jonah. Jonah sighed and told the truth. "I serve the Lord, the God who made the sea and the land. I was running away from him. This storm is my fault. If you throw me into the sea, the storm will stop." The sailors didn't want to hurt him, but the storm grew worse and worse. Finally, with heavy hearts, they tossed Jonah overboard. The very moment Jonah hit the water, the sea became calm. The sailors gasped in awe and worshipped the Lord. But Jonah wasn't safe. He was sinking into the deep sea. Just then, God sent a huge fish, so big it could swallow Jonah whole. Gulp, and inside the fish's belly, Jonah sat in darkness. For 3 days and 3 nights Jonah prayed. He told God he was sorry. He promised to obey. "Salvation comes from the Lord," Jonah cried. And then, with a mighty heave, the fish spat Jonah out onto dry land. Jonah was covered in seaweed and smelling like fish guts, but he was alive. This time, when God said, "Go to Nineveh," Jonah went. Nineveh was a giant city, filled with people. Jonah walked through the streets, shouting, "40 more days, and Nineveh will be destroyed." The people stopped. They listened, and to Jonah's surprise, they believed. Everyone, from the poorest child to the richest noble, put on rough sackcloth and cried out to God. Even the king left his throne, put on sackcloth, and sat down in ashes. He told the whole city to fast and pray. And God saw their hearts. He had mercy on them and did not destroy the city. But Jonah was angry. He stomped his foot. "See, Lord, this is why I ran away. I knew you were merciful. I knew you'd forgive them. I'd rather die than see my enemies saved." God asked, "Is it right for you to be angry?" Jonah went outside the city and built a little shelter. He sat down to watch, hoping maybe Nineveh would still be destroyed. God, in his kindness, caused a leafy plant to grow. Its big green leaves shaded Jonah from the hot sun. Jonah was happy about the plant. But the next morning, God sent a worm to chew the plant. It withered and died. Then a scorching wind blew, and the sun blazed on Jonah's head until he grew faint. He groaned, "I just want to die." God spoke gently. "Jonah, you cared about this plant, though you did nothing to make it grow. But shouldn't I care about Nineveh, a city of over 120,000 people and many animals too?" Jonah sat in silence, and the story ends there, with God's mercy greater than Jonah's anger. The story of Jonah reminds us that God's mercy extends beyond borders, beyond nations, and even to those we least expect. His compassion is greater than our anger, and His love reaches all who repent.